In this video, we're going to talk about factoring trinomials, but using algebra tiles. So before we can do that, we have to remember what we're really trying to do with these suckers and what does it mean to factor. So I'm going to scoot these off to the side for a second. So we know that if I'm factoring a quadratic trinomial in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, from our work with this, we know that this will end up factoring into two linear binomials. Okay, we know that structure, we can recognize that. So if we know that, then we're essentially trying to figure out what two factors did I multiply together to get my quadratic. And we're going to do that by modeling and creating a picture with our algebra tile. So let's take a look at an example. So if we start with the quadratic trinomial 2x squared plus 11x plus 5, we want to essentially take our algebra tiles and we want to turn it into a rectangle, because I'm trying to figure out with an area model what are the length and the width essentially of my rectangle. So you kind of have to play with it. So I have 2x squared, that's these guys. Remember, blue is positive, red is negative. So I'm probably going to put those together somewhere. I have 11x, which are these long skinny dudes, and again, green is positive, red would be negative. So I need 11 of them. And then my ones, again, yellow is positive, red would be negative, and I have to somehow turn this into a rectangle. So this first part is kind of just guessing and checking, moving things around. So I know that these always line up like side lengths, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of line up what I think it might be, and then check. I know I'm going to need 5 of these little ones, and the only way to make a 5 into a rectangle is to leave it in a line. So this kind of tells me, based on this, that I might need 5 right here in a straight line. So I'm going to need some more of these. And then I need this guy. So now I've got a rectangle. So basically what I'm going to do now is write the expression of each side. Well, this side, the length of one side of my square would be x. And the length of one side of each of these is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So this would be a plus 5. Okay, this length would be x. This would be another x. And then this is just a single length of 1, so I have a plus 1. If I simplify these expressions, I would get 2x plus 1 for the top and x plus 5 for the side. So these would be the two factors, essentially, that multiplied to give me this trinomial. Now we can actually check that by distributing it out or using your box method, either one. So 2x times x would be 2x squared. 2x times 5 would be 10x. 1 times x would be 1x. 1 times 5 would be 5. And then this combines to be 11x, which is exactly what we started with. So we know we factored it correctly. So the whole point, again, is to create yourself a rectangle using your algebra tiles and then write expressions to represent the length of the sides. Now, one thing we want to keep in mind is really before we do any of this, we always want to take our polynomial and we want to check to see if there is any greatest common factor. So 2x squared, 11x, and 5, none of those have a factor in common, so we know that that gets to be the end of we don't have to start there. We just get to go straight to our algebra tiles. And now we're going to talk about in the next video how to do it without using a model.